My neighbor's daughter came to my door and said, "I need a husband by Friday." Have you ever opened your front door expecting a package, only to find a life-changing surprise standing there? Because that's exactly what happened to me. When my neighbor's daughter looked me straight in the eyes and said, "I need a husband by Friday," I honestly thought she was joking. She wasn't. And what happened over the next few days changed both of our lives forever. Before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us where you're watching from. Now, let's get into today's story. My name is Daniel. I'm 38 years old, divorced, and lived alone in a quiet neighborhood outside Chicago. After my divorce 3 years earlier, I stopped believing in surprises. My days were predictable. Wake up, go to work, come home, eat dinner alone, watch television, sleep. The only people I regularly spoke to were my elderly neighbor, Mrs. Harper, and her daughter Emily, whenever she came to visit. Emily was 26. She was smart, kind, and always smiling. She worked as a pediatric nurse and spent every Thursday evening checking on her mother. We weren't close friends, but we always exchanged polite conversations over the fence. I admired how devoted she was to her mother. That's why I was shocked when she knocked on my door on a Tuesday evening, looking terrified. Her eyes were red from crying. "Daniel," she whispered, "can I come in?" I stepped aside immediately. Of course. She walked inside, sat on my couch, and held her hands together so tightly, her knuckles turned white. For almost a minute, she couldn't speak. Finally, she looked at me. "I need a husband by Friday." "What?" She took a deep breath. "I know this sounds insane." "It does. But please let me explain." She told me something I never expected. Her grandfather was one of the most successful businessmen in their family. Years before he passed away, he wrote a will. Most of his fortune wasn't going to his children. Instead, he planned to divide it equally among his grandchildren. There was just one condition. Each grandchild had to be married before turning 27. Emily's birthday was Saturday. If she wasn't legally married by Friday afternoon, she would lose everything. Not just money. Her share included the family farmhouse where her mother had grown up. Mrs. Harper depended on that property. Without it, she'd have nowhere to live. "I've been engaged before," Emily said quietly, "but my fiancé left 6 months ago. I've tried everything. No one wants a fake marriage." Then she looked at me. "I trust you." The room became completely silent. I laughed nervously. "You can't be serious." "I am. I don't want romance. I don't expect anything. I just need someone honest. We can get the marriage annulled later." I stood and walked toward the kitchen. This had to be the strangest conversation of my life. Every instinct told me to say no. Fake marriages belonged in movies, not real life. But then I thought about Mrs. Harper. She had treated me like family ever since my divorce. She brought homemade soup whenever I got sick. She shoveled my driveway after snowstorms. If losing that farmhouse meant losing her home, could I really walk away? I returned to the living room. "When's Friday?" She smiled weakly. 3 days. I sighed. "Let's talk to a lawyer first." The next morning we met with an attorney. Everything was legal. As long as neither of us committed fraud for immigration or financial crimes, 2 consenting adults could marry. Emily wasn't lying. The inheritance condition was genuine. By Thursday evening we had completed the paperwork. Friday morning we stood inside the county courthouse. No wedding dress, no tuxedo, just 2 nervous people signing documents. The judge smiled. Love sometimes arrives unexpectedly. We exchanged awkward smiles. 10 minutes later, we were officially husband and wife. Emily burst into tears. Not because she was happy, because she was relieved. She hugged me tightly. Thank you. I'll never forget this. I thought that was the end of the story. It wasn't. The following week her grandfather's attorneys confirmed everything. Emily inherited the farmhouse. Mrs. Harper cried when she realized she wouldn't lose her childhood home. Our neighborhood felt hopeful. But life has a strange sense of humor. Since we were legally married, people started treating us like a real couple. Neighbors invited us to dinners. Friends sent anniversary gifts. Even grocery store cashiers asked how we met. At first, we laughed about it. Then something unexpected happened. We stopped pretending. Without realizing it, we started spending more time together. We cooked dinner, watched movies, went hiking on weekends. She learned I love jazz music. I learned she secretly painted landscapes whenever she felt stressed. One evening, she admitted she'd never shown anyone her artwork. I encouraged her to enter a local art festival. She won second place. I've never seen someone smile that proudly. Months passed. Our agreement said we file for annulment after everything settled. But neither of us mentioned it. One night, Emily finally broke the silence. Can I ask you something? Sure. If we weren't already married, would you ever ask me out? I looked at her. I realized I already knew the answer. I think I already have. She laughed. You really haven't. So I stood, walked around the table, held her hand. Emily Harper, I know this marriage started for all the wrong reasons, but somewhere along the way, I fell in love with my wife. Tears filled her eyes. I was hoping you'd say that. Instead of filing annulment papers, we planned a real wedding. This time there was a white dress, flowers, music, friends, family, and vows that actually meant something. Mrs. Harper walked her daughter down the aisle. Halfway through the ceremony, she looked at me and whispered, "Thank you for opening your door that day." Years later, we still laugh about Emily's unforgettable introduction. I need a husband by Friday. Sometimes love doesn't arrive with fireworks. Sometimes it knocks politely, wearing tears instead of a smile. Sometimes the person who changes your life has been living next door all along. And sometimes the most unexpected beginning becomes the happiest ending. If you enjoyed this story, remember to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes love appears when you least expect it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.